Hello and welcome to the Alula webinar. My name is Kevin Hoffman, and today we're going to talk about the sales tool in your pocket, how you can use the Alula Interactive app to demonstrate the value of smart security systems. Really quick before we get started, for those of you who are new to the platform, I want to just really briefly introduce you to Alula. We are 100% partner focused. We're an efficient end-to-end platform. That means we provide both the hardware and the interactive services. We are your partner for both new installs and takeovers, but especially those sunset solutions. And look for some really exciting promos in 2021 from Alula on that front. Really what we're about is this convergence of technologies that is allowing a more seamless experience for your customers and a better overall account experience for you with one partner who's able to serve all your needs. And that's why partner support and enablement is absolutely number one at Alula. And I would invite you to join our Facebook page, our Facebook user group. We're constantly hearing great feedback there and developing a lot of stuff to help our pros along the way. Our guest today is the ever-popular Dave Main, VP of Product Management at Alula. He's got more than 20 years of experience in wireless device networking. He's worked at such legendary companies as Digi International, GE Security Interlogics, as well as Gibson Guitars. He's launched interactive service offerings with Alarm.com, iControl, and Home Assurance, as well as served as general manager of the Interactive Services Division of GE Security. He's been issued 5 or more patents. There's a couple in the pipeline. And he joined Alula in April 2014. Dave, thank you so much for being with me again here today.
Thanks for setting this all up, Kevin. I always look forward to these.
Excellent. And so as we get started talking about interactive services, I just want to kind of set the stage that there are customers out there who are used to those old-fashioned alarm systems that at best could arm and disarm, or maybe they had no alarm system. And so there's an old saying, customers don't know what they don't know. And so, Dave, talk about how we introduce people to the idea of interactive services and why they're so important.
Yeah, Kevin, I mean, I think everybody that's participating here today, you run a security business. You know better than any of us what drives your business. And one of the key drivers is managing your attrition rate. It's how long you can keep a customer satisfied with the service you're providing. And I think we all know the more often that people use their system, the more likely they are to keep using it. And they'll keep using it because you are connecting the technology you're delivering to their daily lives. And interactive services is all about providing the vision of what's going on in your home or your business or your vacation home or whatever you're connected to, and then being able to interact with that in ways that go beyond just arming it at night and disarming it in the morning. And I think, we're going to go through a lot of examples of that, but everything we're doing around interactive services is about trying to increase how often they use that app, how often they use your platform, and the type of value they take away from it. And the more value you provide, the more satisfied they're going to be, and the longer they're going to be customers. And that's what we're trying to drive here. And we're continuing to build on that, and we're continuing to expand that value proposition for your customers.
Absolutely, and in order to continue to do that, you got to get them to be customers in the first place. And that's why we've added demo mode to our app, and it's really around giving your customers a chance to experience for themselves at their own fingertips what it would be like to have an interactive services security system without having all that gear already installed. So Dave, talk me through the thinking behind demo mode here.
Well, Kevin, coming out of the marketing group, I don't want to, we all have value around marketing materials, things that, whether it's a door hanger or a brochure that you can leave your customers. And we can't diminish the value of having those pieces of content available, but we felt the best way to show what your service is going to be is to actually walk them through it on their phone. You can do it while you're in front of them. Somebody calls in interested, you can have them download the app and do the demo mode on their own. But what it does is it really gives them that experience not only of how it's a security system, but really how it's a connected home offering. It goes far beyond just security. It gives a real overview of what's happening on that site, and it gives a lot of controls on things that you can do that are going to be benefits outside of just generating an alarm when somebody's breaking in. And some of our competitors will have demo modes that'll walk through a couple of presentation screens or kind of do a canned presentation. This is a fully interactive demo mode, and we're trying to give that because we feel this is far beyond just a brochure. It's far beyond a leave behind. It is the experience they're going to have when they become your customer. We see value in that. We believe you're going to see value in it. And I tell you what, a lot of the customers who aren't yet our partners get this, and they become actually quite surprised at how far Alula has come in developing our interactive offering and how innovative we are in how we deliver it. And we wanted to make sure that was available to everybody that comes across our app.
Yeah, I mean, demo mode does have a lot more capabilities than what you might be used to from our competitors. To Dave's point, I did download some competitor apps, and he is right that a lot of times it's a slideshow. You can't really see what the app's going to be until you start paying for it. And that's not what ours is. You download it for free. You get demo mode for free. You try before you buy. And there's a lot of different parts of it to experience. So we're going to walk you through a couple things that you probably want to highlight for your customers, starting with arming and disarming. So Dave, what do you like to talk about here?
Yeah, and I think, this whole presentation that we're going through today, it's highlighting the demo mode and the way you can use it to sell, but it's also a walkthrough of our app. And we like to talk about certain things that become simple. And one of the challenges you have, I think everybody here is going to know in trying to sell a security offering, there's almost a fear factor that consumers have over, I'm going to make a mistake, I'm going to generate a false alarm. And we all know false alarms are real issues in the industry. We try to simplify all of the features, and just talking about the arming and disarming functionality. It's a single button push, and then we have an interactive countdown. We all know what exit delay is and entry delay is. We can explain that as you go through the app, and we can demonstrate how it shows up in the demo mode or in the Alula interactive experience. I don't know if any of you have received emails recently. We're talking about the speed of our network. All of our services happen in a matter of a second, not in a matter of multiple seconds or minutes. And that allows us to actually have an active countdown timer. So not only do you know the system's armed, but you know that you have 60 seconds to leave the building, and you can see that. We like to talk through all of these things to really demystify what security is all about, to demonstrate how easy it is to use and how this is really going to be a differentiation for you, and you aren't going to make mistakes or generate false alarms like many you might hear from other customers. So all of this, when we go through our demos, I always highlight number one, the customizable dashboard, which is what's exhibited here. You can pick all the things that matter that'll show up on your screen, and they're on one page, and you can scroll through it. And the arming is a simple push button with direct and immediate feedback on what's going on for that entire process.
Yeah, and I love that our demo mode actually does give you that countdown in real time so that the customer can see, oh, okay, I have this much time to get out, and all I have to do is press this button, and I've got full control, and it's nothing to be worried or scared of, right?
Yeah, and the speed of our network allows that countdown timer to be, fully interactive, and most other platforms have really struggled to be able to do that.
Another thing that I think is so important is, of course, video. And part of it is certainly, you want them to understand that they can have video and that they could show their backyard or that they could show their doorbell camera. And so that was one of the reasons we incorporated these video feeds. Obviously, they're not real video feeds, but they show what the video feed would look like if the customer were to have this in their house. And what I really love about it is the ability to kind of this calendar functionality. It's kind of like being a time traveler insofar as you can go back and say, what was somebody doing at my house 6 months ago? So Dave, talk about how you use the demo video to kind of broach that subject.
Yeah, and I'm laughing because this video, I know it's not live clips, but these happen to be my house. So you're seeing my front yard right now. So at any rate, as you go in, as Kevin points out, we want to talk about, number one, you can view all your cameras on one page, and you can select different dates to view clips. One of the innovative things we've done in our Alula interactive app is the clip viewing can happen on that same page. You can scroll through the clips right on that page. You have a lot of flexibility to see what's going on. And we just came off of Thanksgiving holiday. Given everything going on, we had a small gathering, but my mother-in-law was over, and she's 82 years old, and actually has our app and a doorbell camera. And I was amazed at how much she used the app and the camera. This is an 82-year-old woman on her iPhone checking for packages being delivered or somebody going to get her mail. And it demonstrated to me how valuable visual interaction with this app is and how much that means to your customers, and the fact that the way they value and the way they feel about your services. So she's got the security side of it, but the cameras were what she kept looking at, and she did that all weekend long. And I appreciated the fact that that's a demonstration of, number one, expanding the market to a broad range on the young and the old side, and then really increasing the value. So I think it's important to highlight all the capabilities you can do in the video world.
Absolutely. And, cameras are one way they're able to keep track of what's happening at your house. But, if you're traveling for Christmas, you may want to have some notifications set up. I think particularly when it comes to the winter time, you want to be aware if there's a leak detected, if there's any kind of flooding that might be going on. That is the season of frozen pipes here up north. So Dave, talk about how we're able to customize notifications even by zone.
Yeah, and notifications, obviously everybody here is providing services, and your job is to make sure that any alarm condition is responded to, and all of that happens on the platform. It's going to get to the central station and you can take action, but people want to be notified not just of alarm events, they want to be notified of other activities. It can be somebody's at my front door, somebody rang the doorbell, and we have the flexibility to pick and choose. Do I want to be notified on video motion activities, on doorbell button pushes, or on any given zone that might open or close? We have a couple of doors that are used very infrequently in our home. I have a notification set up on those. If it opens up, I want to know about it for a couple of reasons. First off, it's unusual, and secondarily, we might not close it because we don't go to that door very often, or if we leave our garage door open. And so for every zone that's on the system, you can just press on that zone name. It'll open up a menu, and you can say, I want to be notified when it opens or when it closes, or both. That level of flexibility is powerful. And if you're doing a live demo, this is demo mode where you can speak to it. If you're in a live mode, that notification happens again in a matter of a second or two. So you open the door and it is there immediately. And that is the type of comfort that again, ensures that your customers are satisfied and gaining value out of it. And it's not just that it's an alarm, it's, hey, the liquor cabinet was open, the gun cabinet was open. All of these things become very flexible, and we have the ability to program audible chimes and notifications through the app in a very flexible way, right through just pressing each zone name. That gives a lot of control to your customers and brings a lot of additional value outside of just somebody's breaking into the home.
Sure, David. I'll tell you, talk about speed of network. For me, the biggest thing with notifications is I want to know as soon as the package is delivered. I don't think that sits outside for more than a minute before I'm out there picking that thing up. So if you're a Porsche pirate, you're going to have to get up pretty early and get here pretty quick if you're going to get my presents for Christmas, because I've got it on lockdown. Speaking of lockdown, we've got lights, locks, and thermostats. We've put this into the demo mode, because it's important to understand the full range of things you can do with a smart home, even if you're not yet ready to go all the way. So, Dave, talk about lights, locks, and thermostats and how you would look at each of these screens.
Yeah, every one of our systems is capable of adding home automation, and as you add these devices in, these are the most common that you speak to. And this is the individual device control. It's available at a push button. All of our key menu items are right across the bottom of the screen. You tap the Devices tab, and any device that's enrolled in is available and can be directly controlled. We also have a scenes engine where you can have these devices interact with one another or take actions based on what's going on security. So you arm the security system, it will lock the doors, set back the thermostat, and do all of those functions. All of that can be demonstrated and shown where it goes beyond just remote control capabilities, but it goes into an ability to have these devices interact. We also have an ability, we talked about notifications on the previous slide, to be notified based on temperature settings. Oh, my air conditioning went out, my pets are at home, the house is up to 82 degrees. I could be notified of that. Or in a commercial setting, I have a server room. I can put a little temperature sensor in there and be notified when it exceeds a certain temperature. I can do custom temperature range settings and create notifications around these. These are very powerful tools, and it allows you to solve unique problems, whether it's a residential problem. In my case, on the opening slide, I have a vacation home up in Wisconsin. Well, in January in Wisconsin, I want to know if my furnace goes out because I'm soon going to have pipes freezing. And I have that set up, and I can be notified of that. But it can be a server room for a small business, or it can be to care for pets in a warm climate. All of these become unique things that you can solve just through the flexibility of the Alula Interactive app. And we can talk about all those types of things as you're going through the demo. That's a very powerful sales tool, and it really helps you close more business.
Yeah, and I really like the thermostat aspect of this because it's so fully interactive. Even in demo mode, you can basically set the temperature to 72, and you'll watch the fan go on, and you'll see the system set to cool. And so you really get the understanding of being able to control your HVAC system via a phone app. And let me tell you, on those cold mornings in Minnesota, I take advantage of that.
And that's a great point, though. Well, this is fully interactive, Kevin, because, again, we aren't just doing screen walkthroughs. We're making this as real as possible so they can really understand the value that you're going to bring when you put that system in.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, some people have vacation homes. They need to keep an eye on that during the winter. There's also businesses that people may have that they want to keep an eye on. So talk about how we're able to look at multiple locations in one single application.
Yeah, again, we try to minimize jumping between screens because the one thing we did when we did consumer research is you need to have things simple to operate and intuitive, and screen jumping makes it more challenging. So right at the top of the screen, it says what system you're on, your home, your cabin, your business. It's a simple drop-down message, and it immediately hops you over to that page. Now, we have the ability to, on any given dashboard, you can view cameras from multiple sites and set that up on your customizable dashboard. But interacting with the security system, it's as simple as which property do you want to look at, and arm, disarm, change notification settings, all the things we're talking about, change the thermostat settings can be done with a single drop down, and you have full device control of everything. So again, a very powerful tool, and it allows you to have a single login and our logins have facial recognition, so you don't even have to push a button. You look at your phone, it logs you in. You can control 20 different locations if you happen to be lucky enough to own 20 different properties. Or you have the ability to have a guest house, primary house, all controlled from a single login. Powerful message, powerful delivery, and it ties all the value we've been talking about into your sales pitch.
And the cameras are certainly very powerful insofar as they do enable you to take a view of these different properties that you may not be at. But I mentioned kind of an older generation earlier. They may not have grown up with cameras, and so they may have questions about putting cameras in their home. And so that's why we have privacy mode here. And so, Dave, why don't you talk through how you can put a customer at ease about cameras using this privacy mode?
Yeah, and this is a growing feature that we're seeing that's bringing a lot of value. Our biggest selling cameras are the outdoors. It's the doorbell and the bullet camera, and it's for what you just said. People are a little concerned about having cameras inside, but having this privacy mode where you can, at a push of a button, turn those cameras off. They don't detect objects. They don't record clips. You can't do live view to them. They are blocked during that period of time. This gives the opportunity to have indoor cameras, and I'm going on a vacation. Now I want to see what's going on inside the property, not only for people breaking in, but I might have somebody coming and servicing the property, and I want to make sure they're coming and taking care of the pet or taking care of the plants. All of these can now be controlled at the push of a button by your customers, and you can walk them through that process. It helps you sell more cameras. One of the things we find is if you're able to sell one camera, you're probably going to sell 3 or 4. The attach rate of cameras is going up dramatically, and very few people just get one. They get multiple. This type of feature will help you sell even more because today it's mostly outdoor cameras. It will migrate to indoor cameras through features and functions like this. So we like to highlight that as part of the walkthrough of the app, just to demonstrate the thoughtfulness that Alula Interactive has put into delivering these services.
And of course, one of our most popular products this past year was the Slimline Touchpad. It won just a ton of industry awards. We've gotten great feedback from our partners who say that this basically makes the sale incredibly easy. If you put this in front of a customer, they will sign the contract. And it's because it's such a great user interface. But now we've added demo mode to the Slimline Touchpad too, Dave.
Yeah, and it's a very powerful tool, especially if anybody's doing door-to-door sales or going to meet with a customer, because you can show, here's what the system will look like on your countertop or on the wall. And the Slimline Touchpad can be mounted right where a keypad was and use the same wiring that the keypad had and be powered right off of that. So we do have, innovative wall mount or a tabletop mount. But what you see here is the user interface is very similar, really identical from an icon and function to the phone app. It's just a different orientation and it's a bigger screen. You can see video from it. You can see all your zone information. And as you see it on the step through here, I'm going into demo mode. It goes to, first off, a very simple interface with just the arming icons, and then you can configure it to add in additional information on that home screen. This is useful if you're in a commercial application and you don't want to show all the zones being protected if it's in a public location. So we've thought through all of these processes. We can go through an entire interactive demo of that touchpad as well. And since that will be the primary interface when they arrive and leave home, if you are on an on-site demonstration of your services, very powerful tool. Put it up on the wall. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, this is what you would see. Here's what when you arrive home, you push this button and you're ready to disarm the system. Powerful, and again, goes through all of the features and functions of the touchpad, all in a demo application.
Yeah, so let's do that and see. I've got a video of the demo, and maybe you could kind of talk us through it. I'm just going to share my desktop here for a second.
Yeah,
are you able to see?
Yeah, everybody can download the app and start to work with the demo as we're going through the webinar. It's harder to do on a touchpad, so we wanted to be able to show here's what this process looks like.
Yeah, and are you able to see the screen now? Is it okay if I go ahead and start the video?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, and as we're watching this, Dave, like I said, just tell us what you're touching and what different screens you're showing us.
Yeah, when you first power it up, you're either going to connect up to a panel or you can hit the demo mode, and it automatically guides you through the next button. So I push the little arrow to the right. It simulates going through trying to find a panel to join. This is what would happen if you're actually going through and installing a panel or a touchpad to a security system. Once it connects up, it brings you into an armed state. You can press the disarm button, which I think I'm about to do. Enter the code of 1234, and it will disarm. Here is the basic arming screen. I'm going to go in the upper right corner and pick favorites that I want to show up on the home page. These happen to be sensors that I want to have visible on the home page. And now I have a full-on touchscreen. I go through an arming sequence. This one happens to be configured where you need to enter a pin to arm. It'll go into the arming state. I can do the same thing and disarm it and demonstrate how easy it is to arm and disarm the panel. Over on the right, I'm going through various settings that you have in the panel. You can change the volume setting. You can have this panel provide voice enunciation, and you can guide through all of those different features and functions that exist and how this can be customized if it's in a bedroom so it doesn't make noise versus if it's in an entryway and you want it to speak. All of these can be individually configured, and there's a lot of flexibility in what you can do on that touchpad. In sleep mode, it has either images that can show up, or you can have it go completely black, again, if it's in a bedroom setting versus a hallway setting. But all of these functions are available, and it walks you through just as if it were tied to a security system, and it gives you the flexibility to go through not only the operation of the system, but talking about how this can be customized based on where you're putting the touchpads. Kitchen touchpads, bedroom touchpads, hallway touchpads are all going to behave a little differently. And we can configure each one of those individually. And all the notifications we talk about can also come to this. If somebody presses the doorbell, it'll actually ring the doorbell. You can change the doorbell ringtones on the touchpad and actually interact with your door right from the touchpad. So a lot of power, a lot of flexibility, and a full-featured demo right in that device. And this is a battery-powered device. Power it up, go out for a day of sales calls, plug it back in when you get back, and you have a full interactive demo you can bring with on all your sales calls.
Excellent. And you know, we've talked about the interactive services on the cell phone. We just went through the demo on the Slimline Touchpad, but Alula is always looking for ways to make the system more accessible. And we're really excited because now your customers are going to be able to access their security system and their camera feed on their PC or their desktop computer. So Dave, talk about our interactive web portal now.
Yeah, and you know, we launched the interactive web portal a while ago, and it gave you the ability to arm and disarm. Again, a very consistent user interface to what you just saw on the touchpad is available out on the web portal. You go to alulaconnect.com and log in with your user credentials, the same ones you use for your app, and you have full access to it. But the video side is probably the most powerful. As I mentioned earlier, if you sell one camera, you're probably going to sell 3 or 4. It's going to generate clips. These clips are going to become increasingly valuable and informative to your customers. And as you have more cameras, having a larger screen that you can view these clips on becomes very important. From here, you can see all of the clips that are captured. You can sort for all cameras by camera type, by date, just like you saw on the app. You can download these to your computer to save them permanently. We typically keep the last 1,000 clips on the Alula Video Services portal. You can subscribe to more clips than that if you choose to, but we'll always keep the latest and greatest clips. If there's any that are important, you can download those to your computer for future viewing. So a powerful new addition to this. Again, the portal is also very useful for managing users. You're going to have somebody care for your home while you're on vacation. You can guide your customers through how they could actually add a new user, add a new PIN code, and track all of that activity right on this web portal in addition to viewing video content. So exciting enhancements always coming out of our amazing engineering team here at Alula.
Absolutely. Dave, thank you so much for taking the time to walk us through the demo mode and on both the phone and on the Slimline Touchpad. We've got a number of questions. Are you able to stick around and answer a few of them?
Yeah, I'd love to hear the feedback from our partners.
Excellent. Let's get to it then.
Sounds good.
And we are live. Thank you all for being here, and thank you especially for the great commentary in the chat and all the wonderful questions that you sent me for us to go through now. Dave, do I got you?
I am here, Kevin, and I always enjoy watching you interact with everybody that's participating, looking at the chat window. So I'm looking forward to the dialogue here as well.
And I understand, Dave, you may have to make a hot tag at some point to get to a meeting, but you've got some backup.
I do. So yeah, I wanted to take a minute. I'm going to have to. I got double booked a little bit here, but Everything I spoke to here was really driven by our great engineering team and from a product management side, a guy by the name of Corey Plender, who really runs all of our interactive services from Alula Connect through the app. So all the cool stuff you've seen, all the things we talked about, he and his team have really been the ones driving it. I wanted to make sure he was here to hear firsthand all the commentary, and I think he's going to be able to give the best responses to questions. But as always, I love to hear as well. I like to see the dialogue. You can always reach out to me, dave.main@lula.com, and happy to learn what's going on in your world. So, Corey, thanks for taking the time to join this as well.
No problem. You're a tough act to follow, Dave, but I'll do my best today.
All right.
All right, let's throw up a jump ball for the first question. It comes to us from Pak Chan. Pak says, I'm wondering, does the Slimline Touchpad have sound? I tried once using my doorbell and cameras. Somehow I didn't get the sounds from the touchpad. Corey, what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, let me jump in on this one before I cut out here. The Slimline Touchpad has gone through a number of iterations, and all of our systems get remote firmware upgrades. It's one of the value props of being an Alula Interactive partner. So as we add new features, we push those out to your devices. Over time, we've added to the Slimline Touchpad the ability to add video and the ability to do voice feedback. As we sit right now, it will do voice enunciation. It's an optional configuration setting, and you can have it speak system events, voice chime, all of those functions. And we have video viewing, both live and interactive viewing. The video audio on the Slimline Touchpad is not yet active. We're working on a couple of things that are going to open up the audio channel. You can do two-way audio from the app itself. The audio to the touchpad, we're in the midst of making some changes on. So you'll see that coming shortly, and as that's available, it'll be pushed out to all the touchpads. But full video viewing and notifications, doorbell button pushes, doorbell chime, and voice feedback, all available on that device.
Excellent. Now, Kevin Moghadam has a really great question, actually. Pretty basic question, but one that we really should have covered, and I apologize that I didn't. Kevin asks, if you already have an active Alula account, how can you show the demo? Can you add that as a second location, or do you have to log out and log back into the demo? So what do we do in that situation?
Corey, Tag, I think you're it.
All right, perfect. I gave you two beats there. Thanks, Kevin, for the question. Right now, the correct answer is, of course, that you can log out, and then the demo mode is just shown right below where you would log back in. And I think if you looked closely at some of the slides that will be available, or Dave showed, you saw that demo mode there on the bottom left, and that's what you would click to enter the demo mode.
There you go. Here's an easy one for you. Jack Hoke is asking, what's the tech support number?
Well, Kevin, I think you better answer a question here. You know that one.
I think that's.
Is that 88888 Alula?
Yeah, it is 8888 Alula, and you'll get a really great tech support team, and they're ready to answer calls and really chase down the answers. And we have regular meetings between product management, engineering, and our customer support team, so we keep that real-time feedback coming into the product development team. So we don't just let it sit there to say, hey, there's been an issue. If we see something recurring, we elevate that to the rest of the organization. Paul Saldine, who runs engineering, gets engaged on things that get elevated up. And Corey, I know you're very active with that as well.
Yeah, and another option too is, feel free to visit our Facebook group. It's very active. I know Dave is often monitoring it, and he jumps in to help customers. So that's another option as well. Kelby brings up another good point. I want to make sure we cover off on this. Is Kelby, as at least one other person said, that their app looks different, and they're on the Android. Ed Baptista also said that his app looks different. So maybe you could talk a little bit about if there are any differences on the Android version other than just how it looks.
I want to highlight one thing before I jump, Corey,
sorry,
and then I'm going to pass to you. But one thing that people that might have been customers of Alula or our predecessor companies, IP Data Tel Resolution Products, a few years ago when we came together as one, might have what's called virtual keypad or a different user experience altogether. We've been building out our user experience. We still support virtual keypad. It's still an option. And what that means is when we connect up to another manufacturer's security system to provide interactive services, a Honeywell system or a DSC or the NAPCO or any of those, we can provide something that looks just like the keypad that allows you to arm it as if it were the keypad on your wall. We've been migrating everything to the full interactive, which is what we demonstrated here, and we can do that on all those panels as well. But that's one area of I guess, learning that people that have been with us for a while might be experiencing. There are also a couple of differences, and I think, Corey, you're going to go into maybe the Android and iOS variations. But I just wanted to highlight that before I jumped off. And again, I do appreciate everybody participating, and I look forward to continued dialogue. And Corey and Kevin, I'll circle back on anything I missed from here on out.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, Dave.
The path I was going to start down was exactly that. So depending a little bit on how your BAT Connect or BAT LTE was wired into the other vendor panel, you might have seen a different interface than what we just demoed here. So we have multiple ways that you can connect to those vendor products. One would be with Tippering and key switch. The key switch interface is basically a simple arm disarm, or you might have the virtual keypad interface that Dave mentioned. As you do move towards a full bus connection from our BAT Connect product to that panel, you would get the same interface that you're seeing in this demo, where you have the full arming bar and the full content. So those are two elements of it. The other piece, as Dave mentioned, is there's some slight differences between the Android app and the iOS app, kind of OS wars, if you will, or the religion of those platforms. And you know, the Android app, for example, has a lot of the menus you saw in the demonstration in a left menu. So you swipe in from the left of the screen, and you have those same menus. The overall function of the app and the presentation is intended to move closer and closer together as we evolve, and we're constantly working towards having that simple and consistent interface on all of our platforms. So look for that to converge even further in the future.
Corey, wouldn't it be nice if Google and Apple would just make the same phone and help us out a little bit?
Yeah, I think that would eliminate a lot of the battles that I hear amongst the engineering teams here at the office. That's for sure.
Well, I'll reach out to my contacts there and see if they'll do us a solid.
Perfect.
Don Tamillo asks, we talked about the notifications and how our system allows you to really fine-tune those to your own preferences. So Don asks, on an alarm notification, do we have an alarm-type sound activated on the app? This is to ensure the customer does not miss the alert if the phone is in your bag, etc. So what's that experience look like for a customer, an alarm event on their cell phone?
This is a great comment, and something that we are working towards supporting. Right now, when you enter the app and the product is an alarm, obviously there's and your sound is on, of course. There's quite a bit of a difference there. We do get the klaxon horn and the alarm sound, but to actually have that notification have a specific chirp or beep that's different from and configurable by the user is something has been brought up once or twice before, and something we're looking at bringing in a future release.
All right. And on that same topic of notifications, Kevin asks, is there a way to turn off notifications for certain cameras, but keep them on for another camera? And he later says, I want my doorbell to send notifications, but I don't want my driveway bullet camera to send any. How would you handle that, Corey?
Love the comment there too, and that's certainly something we're also looking into. Today you have the ability to turn on and off categories of notifications. So doorbell press being one, motion detection being one, alarm alerts and trouble alerts being another set that you can enable and disable, as well as the section that Dave identified on a per zone basis. You can configure the open notification and or close notification. So there's certainly we're moving in that direction. Your ask on a per camera basis is also coming for the masses. It is available through Android OS. It's available on the Android app. So we've got it partially there for Android. We're working towards having it there and consistent across iOS as well.
All right. On a slightly different topic, everyone saw how much I enjoy operating my HVAC system on those cold mornings. And so there was a natural question from Jason. What are the list of tested or approved Z-Wave thermostats and devices? Gordon also jumps in and asks if it's compatible with Z-Wave, Zigbee, or Nest. Corey, how could someone figure that out?
Good grouping there. I saw those questions come in too. So every Z-Wave compatible, Z-Wave Plus compatible thermostat should be capable of interacting with our Z-Wave module and home automation functions on our panel products. We have had some recent bug fix that's gone out. So if you've, I would appreciate you to recheck your experience there and make sure that if you have had some question marks on certain products to see if that's cleared up in recent releases. And as always, don't hesitate to reach out to Dave or myself on the product team, and we can bring back specific models and makes to our engineering group if there's challenges. What we found there is that it can come down to the way in which the thermostat vendor implements their interaction with the Z-Wave protocol. And there's some slight differences. It used to be, I mean, some of the automation guys that lived through the early days, it was always a question whether A connected with B. In general, we are now stating that anything that has the Z-Wave Plus certification will work with our home automation, our home automation hub functions, and we want to have that dialogue with you if you're experiencing something that isn't.
Perfect. We've got some good questions still coming in the group chat. Keep them coming. Don, love that question about network speed. Looking forward to getting to that, but we got a few questions to get to first. And Gordon is also asking, what platform are the cameras on?
The cameras communicate through a platform that Alula maintains and manages. We do operate out of AWS here in the U.S., and we're delivering that solution from a platform that Alula engineers and manages.
Yes, and in fact, we can even have those cameras operating without a security system, right?
Absolutely. I think that's we do see a lot of installs where the solution actually kind of displays only camera options when the customer logs in if they've only got a camera on their account.
So speaking of cameras, Kevin asked a good question here. Is there any advantage to putting a bigger SD card in the camera?
There's some. Basically, that SD card acts as a buffer for the local camera communications and storage when, if and when there's perhaps a network outage or some reason for which the clip can't be delivered to the cloud. So the camera firmware itself is basically doing a first in, first out. It'll eventually overwrite its current capacity, the 16 gig card that's shipped with it. Depending on how much activity is going on around that camera or whether you have continuous record enabled, that can be a couple days, or it can be quite a substantial amount of time longer. Obviously, adding a larger card there would increase the duration before which it would start to overwrite old videos. Okay, and Stephen Hayes says,
time and place for indoor cameras, sir. I agree with you there. And they're especially useful when you're on vacation, so you're not always in your house. Though, I guess increasingly sometimes we are. Chris Neighbors has a great question. For camera privacy mode, can that be set off with a scene so that it would disarm? When you disarm your system, it would automatically put those indoor cameras in privacy mode?
Yeah, I mean, you're spot on the roadmap with that question, right? So the next couple of things, extensions to the privacy mode conversation will be allowing a configuration on a per camera basis for how it follows the panel status. So when when I arm my system, the indoor cameras are on in that case, and the outdoor cameras, of course, as well. When I disarm my system, I want to put the indoor cameras into privacy mode, but I want to leave my driveway camera and my backyard camera set to active all the time. So those definitely are things that we're aiming towards, and a scene would be a logical extension of that.
So speaking of scenes, Jason brings up an interesting point. And this is something that confused me too. But if you're using the iOS app and you go to the bottom of the screen to bring up scenes and groups, once you select one, you can't go back and select the other without closing the app and reopening it. Did I miss something? I know I missed it. So Corey, what did we miss on that one?
Well, I'd love to hear what iOS device you're using and OS, and what I'm suspecting is that perhaps you have some of the magnification functions turned on in the OS, and we're losing that somehow. I will definitely take that back to the development team, because that's certainly not the way we would expect it.
I mean, I could tell you, Corey, because I've actually had that same experience Jason's talking about. There's just not, the back button isn't obvious on that screen. And so you're not quite, you get there and you're not sure how to go back. You actually can go into the menu and go back manually that way, but it is a little UX thing that we could probably clean up a little bit in the next update.
Sure.
Kevin Mog, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Kevin.
Okay, sorry. Kevin Moghadam says, will the Slimline keypad show the exact same troubles as the regular keypad does?
Yeah, this kind of might go back to how that device is connected to the bus. Certainly, if you're fully interactive and bus connected on the majority of panels that we support with full interactive mode, I would say yes. You will see those troubles be represented on the touchpad accurately and correctly. With other connection types, the touchpad has less capability of tracking those troubles. So, for example, on a key switch connected panel, we certainly wouldn't see the troubles other than the way they're reported through to the central station.
And a couple little questions. We shared that live demo of the Slimline Touchpad, and I think some people saw some things on there that they want. Kelby asked, can you customize the sleep photos on that Slimline Touchpad?
Today the answer is no. I mean, for example, we have quite a few of our devices that are cellularly connected, and that's obviously a bandwidth constrained connection method. And we haven't opened that up to put sleep photos out there. We are working towards a category of branding that would allow dealers to put a business logo out there. So we're heading towards a dealer branding state where they'll be able to, you guys will be able to provide a logo that will show up on that sleep screen.
And there's your answer, John Lepper, in terms of customizing the skin with a private label logo. So there you go. Don Tamillo, thanks for asking this question. Is there a demo login? And we shared a lot about the demo. Did they need anything to actually be able to use it?
No, in both cases, for the app and for the touchpad, it's really just selecting that demo mode button, if you will, or area on the screen when you're in the app or in the touchpad.
Yeah, we made it super easy. So yeah, just skip that username, skip that password, just click that demo link. No need to type. Pac Chan, Pac Chan saw the that last slide that Dave showed of the interactive web portal where you can view it on your desktop. How do they get to that? Is it the same as the Pro login?
No, I mean it's www.alulaconnect.com, and then you log in with your end user credentials, the same credentials that you used when you log into the app, and you will then see the end user login interface for interacting with your account and all of the account devices that are installed for that user.
Okay, Kelby, Old Head says, coming from alarm.com, I got accustomed to seeing zones opening and closing. Suggest that might be something for us to think about. Is that something we thought about?
Love this question. It's very timely. We're working on a project actively here in this quarter and next that will allow for normal activity monitoring of the zones that are installed on the security panel. Look for some more communication about that in the next quarter.
Okay. Ron Perry asks, hello, is there a backplate available to cover old in-wall keypads?
We have a couple of options there for that situation. We do have our flat mount touchpad product, which is in a plastic enclosure that goes flat to the wall, and that definitely is built to cover any in-wall low voltage enclosure or just the punch through the sheetrock that we see quite often. We also have an upcoming product that will have such a backplate and be built to cover old work.
Okay, a couple questions about the cameras. Gordon asks, does the app only work with the Alula cameras? And on a similar note, Don is asking, what third-party camera brands can we use?
Well, today, as you know, the Alula models are evolving, and we're working actively to make the experience around the Alula cameras ever better. And that includes faster times from motion report to clip availability. Just a better experience goes on and on around the Alula options every day here at Alula. We have and do support some models of the EasyViz camera line. We do try to keep consistent support around the like models to the Alula models themselves. We do have some troubles with that, obviously, because as Hikvision, EasyViz update their firmware for those products, then sometimes we have a little bit of a lag in supporting them. So there are some elements of using those EasyViz models that might be a little bit more troublesome.
Okay, here's a great question from Jack. Love hearing this. What all do I need in order to set up and experience the Alula system in a residence?
Well, I think that might vary a little bit about what you normally install. Certainly, you could order any number of the Connect Plus kits that are available through our product offering, and that would be generally like a 311 kit with or without cellular. Certainly, you could do that, and a handful of our Alula cameras I would recommend. Those kits do have the Z-Wave option, or with or without the Z-Wave option. And once you've got that, you could include your favorite door lock or lighting controls, and see all of that in conjunction then.
Jack, yeah, we'll have somebody give you a call and work with you to configure a system that'll meet those needs later today after this call. But I will just add that that's the wonderful beauty of demo mode is you literally already have everything you need to experience an Alula system without actually having to
certainly
install it quite yet, right? Pack asks, I tried using BatConnect to take over an existing DSC panel. However, the BatConnect shows all zones as door window sensor, even though there are supposed to be some that are motion. Can we have an option to change the icon so that it does not confuse the clients?
Yeah, Pack, we do have a method of bringing that system on board that would allow zone types to be read from the DSC. In that install mode, you would connect a PC link cable at least during the initial install, so we could read out those types. We are looking into, as you say, the type configuration capability through Alula Connect. So stay tuned, and I'll get an update on that out to you directly.
Okay, and now my favorite question from Don Tamilo. Thank you for asking this because it makes me think that you watched the video that I worked so hard on and posted this week about Alula's network speed. And by the way, it's also available in Spanish and French for customers who are native to those languages. But Don is asking, do you know if the network speed / reaction via the app is the same anywhere in the world? Or would it matter if you were in Canada or somewhere else?
Well, I mean, obviously the way the app and the platform interact are based upon the internet speeds, right? So if you're able to go out to Google.com or any of the other major sites in prompt time from your mobile device, and at the location where you're installing the product, it's almost certain that the platform will behave, in a comparable fashion. That said, obviously those speeds are constantly getting faster and better in most parts of the world. Our network is very fast and very capable, and I would stand it up next to anyone else in a similar install location and be proud to be faster.
Yeah, and to put that in layman's terms, the limitation won't actually be the Alula network. It will work just as fast everywhere in the world. But you may, if you have bad cellular connection and can't get to the Alula network because you're in the Yukon, you won't get that same speed. But yeah, that's going to be an issue with your ability to connect to a cellular network. Kevin asks, can you show? Okay. Kevin, I'll reach out to you later on that one. But Kevin is asking also, what is the part number for that flat mount keypad? And does it do everything that Slimline does?
It does do everything that Slimline does. It's basically the front component of the Slimline actually in a 7-inch Android touchpad that's mounted inside the flat mount plastics. So it's the same unit and the same software running on the touchpad. I don't have that number handy with me. We'll have to get back to you on that number. I apologize for that.
Yeah, and if anybody from Alula is listening and could just real quick copy paste that part number for that flat mount touchpad into the group chat, would very much appreciate that. Coming to our last question. Love this. Our friend Pax says, just to reply to Don, I'm located in Canada, Toronto, with a few Alula products installed. Speed seems good.
Really appreciate that. We do have contracts with AT&T for GSM and LTE worldwide accounts. So yeah, definitely that part of it is going to be rock solid. And then again, to kind of de-emphasize the engineer in me, it really comes down to how your internet connectivity works on your mobile device and in your home if you're connected on the Ethernet of your house. If that's prompt, if you will, in your own use, we're going to be just fine in the use that we use for the security system.
Okay, and I do have one. I got to get to this question from AC because always love to see AC Conti in here. But he asks, why does the Back Connect and Connect Plus cell module troubles come in as zones instead of indicating a radio trouble?
I have to assume you're talking about the supervision, supervisory on the interfaces. I believe we report a 333 code for that, contact ID for that, and we report the interface itself as 1, 2, or 3. Obviously, where that contact ID lands in the list, the expectation is that the zone or that the ID is actually a zone number. So we've been looking at ways to improve that. Hear you loud and clear that's confusing. We're looking at ways we can clarify that on our platform, and certainly clarify it as it gets relayed through to the monitoring station. So appreciate that input, and that's something that we're actively looking at right now.
Thank you, AC. Always good to see you in here. Let me just round up with this last question. Jason Alcock says, did a tech explain that the device uses CM1 and not LTE network service? Could you explain that?
Sure. I mean, there's a lot longer technical explanation we could get into, but the LTE protocol, the LTE specification, if you will, does include what's called Category M1 communication, and that's really a subpart of the LTE protocol that is developed and designed for low bandwidth applications like security, where we don't need capability of streaming movies to support our security systems, the CAT-M1 subpart to LTE is actually designed specifically for what's called Internet of Things or IoT devices, of which security is one. So again, it is a CAT-M1 radio that's a subpart of the LTE specification.
Great. Now as we wrap it up, Don Tamilo asks, where will this presentation be available? Don, I'm going to have that out this afternoon, and I will also be posting it on our Facebook group, which brings me to a last plug, which is please join us on the Facebook group. PacChan, I hope you will come to the Facebook group if you're not there already. What you just did with Don is exactly what we do there all day long. It's pros helping pros, answering each other's questions, and helping each other succeed and make money together. So please join us on that Facebook page. I hope to see you there, Pac. I hope to see you there, Don. And Corey, thank you so much for taking the time to go through all of these questions and pinch hit there for Dave.
You bet. Thank you all.